The Caribbean dawn breaks. Turquoise waves shimmer under low-hanging clouds. The USS Gerald R. Ford surges south at 30 knots, her hull slicing clean lines through the choppy water. Radar screens flicker across the carrier's bridge. Multiple blips appear. Some are small craft, some unknown. Deck officers shout over the wind, sweat streaking faces, eyes fixed on screens. 20 miles off Caracas, two B-1B Lancers streak low. Mach 1.2, transponders off. Their afterburners carve streaks through thickening clouds. The navigator manually recalculates route. Due to Russian EW pulses jamming the GPS feed, seconds tick. Every decision counts. Operators squint at flickering returns. A faint echo jumps across the radar grid. Is it a drug smuggler or a bomber entering restricted airspace? Russian advisors murmur, gestures pointing at screens, confusion mounting. Meanwhile, a Ticonderoga-class cruiser in the formation tracks multiple high-speed small boats weaving through a squall line. Coastal radar flashes. The first interception orders are called out. Warning signals, maneuver vectors. Human fingers fly over keyboards. The sea churns. Waves crash against hulls. Time compresses. The region holds its breath. A single mechanical glitch, a misread blip, or a miscommunication could spark an international incident before breakfast. This is no drill. The Ford is here, and the Caribbean will notice. The USS Gerald R. Ford cuts through the Caribbean swells, her hull slicing turquoise water like a knife. B-1. B Lancers streak low over Caracas, transponders off, Mach 1.2. Every sensor on the destroyers flares. Radar, sonar, electronic warfare, feeding an unbroken stream of data. The Venezuelan coast is alive with movement. Russian advisors whisper into headsets. One misread blip could ignite a regional crisis. Cockpit screens inside the bomber flicker as electronic warfare pulses distort navigation readouts. 12 seconds to correct flight path. Fingers fly across controls. Mistiming could send them into restricted airspace. On the carrier's deck, crews scramble as a squall hits. The EMALS system tightens under strain. The catapult hums, building tension. Sweat streaks faces. The launch sequence cannot pause. A cluster of small craft appears on destroyer radar. Distance 1.2 nautical miles, speed 45 knots. Are they false returns or real threats? Tension spikes in the operations room. Inside a Venezuelan radar station, night vision feeds show low-flying bombers. Heart rates rise. Russian electronic warfare pulses interfere with signal clarity, doubling perceived threat. Humidity and turbulence push the physical limits of the bomber crew. 10-hour mission endurance. Fatigue sets in. Mach 1.2, 20 to 50 miles off Caracas. Every course correction exacts a toll. Tracking data spikes across the carrier strike group. The Aegis network locks multiple targets. Storm clutter creates false echoes. Automated countermeasures stand ready but require human confirmation. A Venezuelan Su-30 appears on radar, tailing a P-8 Poseidon. Weapon systems keyed, but rules of engagement are strict. Seconds determine whether to shadow or intercept. The EMALS cycle completes as an F/A-18 launches into rain-slick air. Stormlight reflects off the fuselage. Crew exhales, but another jet already waits for launch. The rhythm is relentless. The Caribbean sky roils with streaks of B-1B contrails, radar echoes bouncing between Venezuelan and Russian systems. Every instrument, every human pulse, every mechanical tremor feeds one narrative. Tension is rising, and the region holds its breath. One miscalculation could transform a show of force into an international incident. the first missiles light the sky. Inside the destroyer's Combat Information Center, SM-6 interceptors streak toward fast-moving drug boats. Radar tracks flash, calculating impact points in real time. Crew eyes flick between screens and the horizon. One miss, and the target slips through. On the flight deck, F/A-18 Super Hornets roar off the forward. The EMALS catapults hum, releasing aircraft at precise intervals. Pilots push 5.8 G in tight turns as they climb toward Su-30 intercept vectors. Cockpit displays flicker under electronic warfare pulses, but instincts take over. A Venezuelan Su-30 scrambles toward the Hornets, afterburners igniting. Sensors detect a cluster of fast boats below. One pilot hesitates. A misread could trigger a full-blown escalation. The B-1B bombers bank over the coastline at Mach 1.2, transponders off. Eyes scan for radar coverage while navigators compensate for intermittent electronic warfare jamming. Tankers refuel mid-air, adding split-second pressure to maintain formation. High-speed drug boats maneuver unpredictably. Warning rounds fire from the destroyer's deck. Vessels veer sharply, engines screaming, sprays of water glinting in the tropical sun. Navigation officers plot intercept courses on the fly, constantly updating missile targeting solutions. On the carrier bridge, one radar blip disappears and reappears. Commanders call for hold fire orders. The flight deck chief recalculates launch sequence as the next Hornet approaches readiness. The EMALS hums louder, steel plates quivering under extreme load. Tension peaks. Multiple actions overlap at once. Missiles intercept small craft. Hornets engage approaching fighters. Bombers complete high-speed passes near the coast. Micro-decisions ripple through the networked fleet. One wrong call could escalate the Caribbean standoff into kinetic conflict. Every microbeat matters. Radar, comms, human nerves, and machine precision intersect. Seconds stretch. Sweat, lightning, exhaust, and radio chatter fuse into a chaotic symphony of tactical execution. The Ford and her strike group move as one, a floating fortress in motion, balancing on the razor's edge between escalation and restraint. Explosions bloom over the water. Missile intercepts hit targets. Small craft erupt into flames, fragments scattering across the surface. Crew on board the destroyer notes collateral spray hitting radar domes, recalibrating sensors in real time. One misfire grazes the water near the Hornet flight path. Tension spikes instantly. Hornets bank hard, returning to pattern. Pilots report minor system fluctuations from electronic warfare interference. Deck crew keeps the next wave ready, sweat dripping under the tropical heat. The emails pulses again, preparing for the next launch. Smoke and fire obscure contacts along the Venezuelan coast. Operators struggle to distinguish false echoes from real targets. Russian advisors bark orders, but the chaos is unmanageable. One miscalculation could trigger a missile launch or scramble escalation to a full kinetic exchange. Bombers veer off low-level passes, adjusting for radar gaps. The B-1B navigators compensate for flickering signals, heartbeats synced to instrumentation. A split-second misalignment during mid-air refueling could ruin the entire sortie. Collateral damage emerges along the coastline. Minor fires from errant flares. Civilians are glimpsed fleeing small docks as authorities scramble to regain control. The Caribbean has witnessed a flashpoint, the consequences of rapid escalation made real. Commanders aboard the carrier tally hits and assess remaining threats. Calculated restraint has prevented full-scale engagement, but uncertainty lingers. Russian electronic warfare signals continue pulsing, feeding ambiguous data into targeting screens. Every decision now carries amplified risk. Tactical dominance is demonstrated, but the human and mechanical cost is palpable. Pilots, deck crews, radar operators, and decision-makers all carry the weight of the encounter. The region's balance has shifted, even if subtly, as both sides recalibrate for the next possible move. The sub settles beneath the Arctic ice. Frost still clings to consoles. Crew members exhale in measured rhythm, shoulders sagging against the cold metal walls. The hum of machinery fills the void. Eyes scan the sonar feed. Everything quiet. For now, good work, comes a low murmur, the voice barely above the ambient engine thrum. Fingers trace the edge of the navigation console, grounding in tactile reality after the razor-edge decision. Echoes fade on sonar. The blips are harmless now, mere shadows on the icy screen. He leans back, rubbing the bridge of his nose, tasting the bitter tang of adrenaline lingering in his mouth. Pumps stabilize in propulsion. Hydraulics no longer shudder. Fingers rest briefly on the controls, letting warmth seep back into them. Sweat glints on his brow despite the freezing temperature. Outside, the ice drifts silently. Dim light filters through, painting ghostly patterns across the hull. The Arctic still holds its secrets, calm but watchful. Every system worked. Every instinct counted. Yet the crew knows the game isn't over. The patrol continues. The SSBN still in motion. The stakes still nuclear. Ice thickness above, 12 feet. Subspeed now, 0 knots, drift mode engaged. Detection probability dropped to negligible. The sub, a combination of human skill and mechanical precision, moves quietly into the waiting hours. Relief is tempered with vigilance. Hydraulic stutter. Ice shifts above. Ballast anomaly. Manual reroute, he calls. Fingers fly over frozen valves. Red warning lights blink in rhythm with his heartbeat. The sub tilts slightly. Ice flow tension creaks through the hull. We surface through weak ice or we reroute, he murmurs, weighing detection risk against mission failure. Seconds tick louder than any alarm. Blips jitter across sonar. A Russian SSBN moving, slow, deliberate. Every sonar ping echoes like a countdown. Probability calculations run through his mind. One wrong maneuver, exposure imminent. Cracks ripple through the ice. Cold air seeps through minor hull imperfections. Sweat and frost mix on the crew's faces. Ballast rerouted manually. Thrusters engage. The sub angles toward thin ice. The hull groans. Ice above flexes, threatening to snap. The sub surfaces by inches, 10, 20, 30. Momentary friction against frozen water. The hull contacts ice briefly. Metal sings. Alarms flare. All eyes lock on control panels. Detection risk spikes. Hold steady. Maintain angle. Steady depth. Ice thickness at the surfacing point, 10 to 12 feet. Subspeed 18 to 20 knots. Detection probability, 1 in 10,000 per ping. Timeline, 3 minutes until the SSBN leaves international waters. Hands tremble. Sweat drips onto frozen consoles. A quiet prayer slips out. A stifled gasp. A jaw clenches. Eyes scan every instrument. Every successful maneuver prevents early SSBN launch. Every error could trigger an international incident. Mission stakes crystallize. Strategic failure is nuclear scale. The command center hums with subdued urgency. Commanders lean over glowing displays, scanning every maneuver, every intercept, every launch. All of it feeds into a larger truth. Doctrine is being tested in real time. The strike group demonstrates rapid power projection, integrating human skill and machine precision under high-stakes conditions. Risk is never eliminated, only managed. Electronic warfare interference, mechanical strain, tropical storms, and human fatigue all reveal the same thing. Operational resilience matters more than perfection. Decisions made in single heartbeats ripple outward, shaping regional outcomes far beyond the carrier's deck. The Caribbean becomes a living testing ground for modern strategy. Carrier strike groups, long-range bombers, destroyers, cruisers, and surveillance platforms thread their movements together into a seamless whole. Multi-domain dominance executed with precision, all without crossing the threshold into open conflict. Strategic observers in Caracas and Moscow watch closely. They understand the message. Speed, information, and discipline define naval power more than raw firepower alone. Doctrine sharpens with every decision. Micro-level choices. A pilot's correction in turbulence. A radar operator's interpretation of a flickering return. A deck crew's timing under pressure. Become as influential as fleet-wide strategy. The strike group proves a fundamental principle. Influence the opponent without triggering the wider war they fear. Leverage precision. Control escalation. Maintain initiative. The USS Gerald R. Ford and her escort stand as proof. Capable, ready, and governed by calculated escalation. The Caribbean remains tense, but the message is unmistakable. Every move is deliberate, every action measured, every escalation planned down to the millisecond.